Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I've just briefly stepped out during my local congregation's Shabbat morning service. There's been a lot happening this past week. Of course, we continue to, number one, pray for peace, Israel, Gaza, the Middle East. That is heating up, especially after the Doha conference. Saudi Arabia and Pakistan signing a mutual defense treaty, possibly involving Pakistani nuclear weapons. The possible creation of a Arab Islamic defense arrangement like NATO. We know these things change from day to day. And of course, building pressure to acknowledge an independent Palestinian state with many diplomats going to the United Nations in New York starting this next week. Number two, we pray for peace, Russia, Ukraine. We've been monitoring that. We know that there have been now almost 1 million Russians who have been killed in this conflict. So as believers, we do have to pray for peace, but we know that Vladimir Putin is testing NATO with drones being sent into Poland, Romania. Now, the most recent one is Russian Air Force caught in Estonian airspace. And Estonia has called for NATO Article 4, so there's going to be a consultation on this. And then, of course, number three, situations here on the American home front. Today, Charlie Kirk will have his memorial service in Arizona. There's going to be continued investigation into that. There are a lot of different conspiracies circulating about his death, but most importantly, how people are responding to his death and how people are going to be sorting through his legacy. That's the biggest thing we have to be taking into consideration. And while last weekend there were congregations, churches, which doubtlessly mentioned his death and his social impact, we shouldn't expect it that much this weekend, but people are definitely going to be talking about it. So there are a lot of things we have to keep in mind, and with, of course, Messianic Insider 5 times a week, although this week it's going to be altered because of Rosh Hashanah coming up on Monday evening. We do our best to keep people informed as to the important matters of the day. Now, behind the scenes with our ministry, there were a lot of things I was doing this past week, making progress on. I'm continuing to push through the updated Romans for the Practical Messianic Commentary. A little more than 3/4 of the way through with the first read on that. So within about a week and a half, if things continue to go the way they've been going, we'll be finished with the first read. Likewise, working on the second read through the updated Messianic Sabbath Helper. I've just got back to the different Tanakh and Apostolic Scriptures passages, so sometime later in the fall, that should be available. And I think this is really significant, I've definitely started the updated Galatians for the Practical Messianic Commentary. This has not been looked at really since like 2012, 2011, I think. So there have been a lot of developments which have taken place with Galatians for certain in the Messianic community. So we're working on getting some of those things updated, this year and into 2026, because there are going to be a lot of changes take place in the next year. We can all feel it. Certainly changes in the world, changes in our Messianic faith community. Probably going to have some big changes coming up in our own family within the next year or so. So just continue to keep us in your prayers. We love you. Of course, we've got the fall high holidays right on our doorstep. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, Feast of Tabernacles. And this is a definite time the Lord is trying to get our collective attention. So Shabbat Shalom. Get lots of rest this weekend. Take care.